Perfect.
I'm glad you like my socks. I'm honored to be here. This is my second Libertarian meeting in the past month. I was with you all in Coffee County at the Weenie Roast. The chili was even better than the weenies. I didn't bring the rain this time either. I know you all understand that I am not a Libertarian. I am a Democrat. Of course, in Tennessee, unfortunately, because of state laws, it's very hard to be a Libertarian. This party, this state has been corrupted for over a century with one party rule. And let me explain what I mean by that. Democrats were in charge since God was a boy. And they ran this state for well over 200 years. They ran it unopposed with supermajorities. And what happened was it caused the ability where there was no checks and balances. We need strong minorities to hold the majority to account. And then what happened is in the mid-2000s, it switched. But it wasn't competitive years. It just switched immediately. And now for the past decade, the establishment, the Republican establishment has screwed you over. The Republican establishment who loves wars on drugs, who loves the wars in the Middle East, who loves career politicians, who loves to drive up debt and deficit spending, has been in charge of Tennessee. I'm here to make a proposal with you today. I am a Democrat with strong leanings towards liberty. A Democrat who thinks the war on drugs is nonsense. A Democrat who thinks corporate establishment politics is done and over with. A Democrat who thinks you should have the freedom to worship God, freedom to own a gun, or freedom to live life with liberty, live life in freedom, live life without oppression from the government, without a government that spies on you, without a government that steals your data, without big corporations that screw you over. But I need your help. I know you might want to sit out or just vote for Desjardins. But here's what I want to tell you about. My opponent, Scott Desjardins, is the worst champion of the libertarian cause in the United States Congress. This man will never show up to your meetings. He will never hear your voice. He will never show up anywhere. He hasn't been in a town hall in this community in over 7 years. You will have a place at my table. You will have a place in my leadership. We need to create a working coalition. Libertarians represent about one in 3 conservatives in the state, maybe more. You can get me elected to the United States Congress. We can create a coalition of libertarians, establishment Democrats, conservatives, folks who are sick and tired of the status quo, populists. And we can create a movement, a coalition movement right here in the South. There is not one liberty-loving congressman in the United States Congress from Tennessee. There's no Justin Amash's here. No offense to our congressional delegation, particularly my Republican friends. They have the intellectual capacities of 5-year-olds on sugar highs. These men are idiots. These men do not think clearly. They do not engage thoughtfully. They do not have critical mindsets. You and I do. We're the smart people. We're the ones who understand that we can't be blind sheep of the establishment, that we've got to work together and create strange coalitions. Justin Amash took him a long time to step out of the Republican Party, right? Yeah. But he always worked with you. He always worked with you. He always was faithful to the Constitution. I'm taking an oath on the 3rd of January for God and nation, and it's not to Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Kevin McCarthy. It's to you and your families and the Constitution we all live under. So I want you to look me up. I want you to give me a chance. What do you have to lose? What has Congressman Desjardins done for you the past decade? He hasn't stepped foot in this community. He will never step foot in the community. He will delete you from his email list. He will hang up on your calls. You have a place at my table. I am with you. I'll fight for you. So I'm humbly asking for your vote. I'm humbly asking for your endorsement. I want libertarians for Hale. I want your Don't Tread on Me shirts across this community and say, I'm Hale yes. I'm a Hale yes voter. I got to go in just a minute to McMinnville, but I understand I'm a Democrat. I understand it might make you skeptical. Is it okay to take 1 or 2 questions? Is that possible? Okay. Yes, sir.
What do you feel about working with Congressman Massey out of Kentucky? Work with him?
I think I can work with Thomas. I think I can work with anyone who has a dedication towards principles of liberty and justice and who's not a blind sheep of the party. Let me tell you something. The Democratic establishment does not like Chris Hale. They are not fans of Chris Hale. I've been running against the establishment a long time. Okay, so I do not owe the establishment a damn thing. And Lord knows I don't owe the Republican establishment anything. If I'm going to win this election, I promise you, on the front page of a newspaper, every newspaper, name your favorite newspaper. Give me one. Let's just do Drudge Report. Let's just say Drudge Report. Or Fox News. On the front page, it will say Joe Biden or Donald Trump elected president of the United States. But if we win this election, it will be the second story. It will be the biggest congressional story in this country. And they will tell, you know what they'll say, is the people that got him there are the folks who want the legalization of marijuana. The folks who believe in civil rights, young people, folks who have been left out of the political process altogether. I am not a product of the establishment. I'm a product of the populist movements, the movements that keep you all here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And what's your name?
Eric Sharp.
Yes, Eric.
Less of a question, just I appreciate you coming here to say these things. I come from the left to libertarianism, and a lot of why I'm where I am is because the Democrats left me behind on everything you're talking
Sure.
about. So I appreciate you giving that attention, and you know, the idea of having more people that are willing to be statesmen and stateswomen, statespeople in Congress that'll work together like a mosh, and it sounds like a good plan.
Well, and the big thing we've got to do is we've got to stand up to the bullies. We have got to stand up to the establishment corporate bullies who push us down and say you're crazy and don't belong. Look, folks, the folks who are not driven first and foremost by blind allegiance to a political party is the majority of Tennessee. They have the money, but we have the people. And I know if we organize well, this campaign is the strongest grassroots campaign in Tennessee's 224-year history. We identify top supporters every day. Okay, so people that we know are going to vote for us. A disproportionate amount of our voters showed up in the Republican primary to vote against the establishment. So they went in the hot summer sun during a pandemic and said, we're going to vote Scott Desjardins out. And Lord knows we don't want that establishment prick Haggerty to be our U.S. Senator. So there are folks who stood up and they fought against the status quo, and they're Chris Hale voters now. But what I need you to do is I need you to coalesce people. I need you to say, I know you're afraid to vote for a Democrat, but this guy's different. He's a different type of Democrat. He's standing up to Desjardins. He's willing to show up in some strange and surprising places and fight for the values we believe in. So here's my message to you. I'm a Democrat you can trust. I'm a Democrat you can hold to account. I will not delete you off my email list. I will not hang up to you on the phone. You will be a part of my governing coalition. For me to win this election, it's going to be a very strange election night party, folks. You're going to have some MAGA folks, some Don't Tread on Me folks. You're going to have some Bernie stands. You're going to have a weird coalition of people who are not always going to agree on things, but I think our abiding principle is that status quo politics do not work. This 40-year reign of corporate establishment politics, these war on drugs, these endless wars in the Middle East, this obsession with spying on our own citizens does not work. And I think that's going to bring everyone in the fold, and we're going to win a historic victory. So thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it.